welcome you to this Wednesday at Wimbledon at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. Cloudy, temperature near 80 degrees. The men's quarterfinals, only the fourth time in open era that the top four seeds have advanced to the quarters. And today's early matches feature the top two players in the world. Number one, Andre Agassi, and over at court one. Number two, Pete Sampras, the defending champion. They are apparently on a collision course towards Sunday's final. Sampras facing the unseeded Shuzo Matsuoka, who is the first Japanese player in the open era to reach the quarterfinals, and the first since 1933 to play well enough to come to this round of 8. Sampras has broken Matsuoka twice. Matsuoka has answered one time. Sampras serving with a lead, 3-2. And we'll return to that. Let's switch next door to center court, where Andre Agassi is engaged with number 27 player in the world, Jaco Elting of the Netherlands. Agassi has already broken Elting twice in the opening set and leads 4-1, 30-love. Dick Yenberg with John McEnroe. We welcome you to our continuing coverage.
And that's exactly what Jaco Elting needs to do if he has any sort of hope at all of winning this match today against Andre Agassi. He's known as a chip and charge specialist, likes to come in and off his opponent's serve. He hasn't done that much so far in this match. He's not going to beat Agassi from the backcourt. Very similar in a way to Paul Annacone, who's now coaching Pete Sampras, who used to come in on both his opponent's first and second serve. Surprisingly, haven't seen that as much with Elting in this event.
Point for 5-1. Agassi has been passing Elting brilliantly, as he has throughout the championship. 11 of his 13 winners on passes. It's wide, and Andre Agassi, who has beaten Andrew Painter, Patrick McEnroe, David Wheaton, and Alexander Morans, now is just a game away from the opening set against Jaco Elting.
Elting's had a couple good wins of his own, including Wayne Ferreira, the 7th seed, staying back more often, but he's not going to have that success against Agassi.
He also beat Michael Stieck, former Wimbledon champion, in the opening round.
I should point out that Michael Stieck and Wayne Ferreira aren't nearly as solid as Agassi from the backcourt. We see Elting, 24 years old, big, strong guy, big legs.
Ranked 27th in singles, but he's ranked #1 in doubles.
He's a warhorse on the tour, plays a lot of events, singles and doubles in every one of them. We see his early results. We talked about Stieck and Ferrer, also Mats Wilander and Andrei Olhovsky of Russia.
He's had a tougher trip to the quarters than has Agassi, who has not played it as a seeded player now through the first 5 rounds.
It's certainly going to help Elting's ranking, currently 27. He'll certainly move into the top 20, even if he loses this match. He must know that he's not solid enough to really compete with Agassi from the backcourt. He likes to chip and charge, but he also wants to respect to the players in the locker room. He doesn't want to be known as a one-dimensional player.
Game Elton.
That's his 3rd ace. Agassi serves for the opening set when we return to Wimbledon.
Agassi leads by 5 games to 2.
Same center court, quarterfinals of Wimbledon. And a man who won 3 singles and 4 doubles championships here, John McEnroe. We're pleased that you're with us all the way to breakfast at Wimbledon on Sunday. Will it be Agassi and Sampras?
I think that's a very, very likely bet. Agassi, Sampras clearly playing the best in this event. Be a big surprise to me if those two don't get to the final.
Agassi, new balls, 5-2. wicked top spin on that backhand.
Well, he's in a dilemma. Doesn't obviously know what to do. I don't really know what to do if I was in his shoes. Agassi passes so well as everything else he does from the back of the court. But your best bet against strong backcourt players, what I tried to do against Lendl, is not give him any rhythm. We see Andre Agassi, only 25 years old, 5'11", ranked #1 in the moment. Excellent year and a lot of prize money. So fast.
4-2.
You want to try to keep these big hitters off their rhythm, and that's why if I was Elting, I would just come right in off his serve. We see his early results. Really fairly easy, except for that one set, and he was down 4-3 in the third to Wheaton. Other than that, just breezing to the quarterfinals.
Game in first set.
And his second and third aces give Andre Agassi the opening set, 6-2. Took him only 25 minutes, and some spectacular shot making by Agassi. As we move now to court one, let's look in on Pete Sampras and Shuzo Matsuoka. Sampras has been broken again, so they have traded breaks, 2 each, and now on serve, Sampras 3-4.
That's very surprising, Dick. You know Matsuoka is going to be tense. His first big match at Wimbledon on one of the stadium courts. Got broken the first game, got back into it, got broken again, and now is re-broken Pete Sampras. This is a surprise here. Matsuoka hanging tough. Sampras new balls. You can see there, reach is not a problem for Matsuoka, but his movement is. He's had some bad knee problems in and out of the circuit the last few years, but seems to finally be healthy. Clearly doesn't move that well. A big guy for a Japanese, about 6'3". Listed at 6'1", but I don't think he's 6'1".
15.
Matsuoka creating some Japanese history along with Kamiko Date on the women's side, and they say in Japan that it has been such a spectacular performance that even baseball is off the first page of the sports newspaper editions, and even sumo wrestling has moved back.
Sounds like the United States. Baseball off the first page. Big chance for tennis.
30-15.
Matsuoka, a pro for the last 10 years, 27 years of age. He's the oldest left in the quarterfinals, ranked 108th coming in. 12-9 to this match, so that means he was 8-9 arriving at Wimbledon. Never made it past the second round here, and suddenly here he is in the quarters.
Well, a lot was expected from Matsuoka when he first burst onto the scene like about 6 or 7 years ago. As a matter of fact, I played him, had a very close match with him. We see his early round results. Karol Novacek in 5 sets. Mark Knowles from the Bahamas, easy win there. Javier Frana, a talented Argentine, again in 5 sets. And Michael Joyce, the American, in
Game, Sampras.
3 quick sets.
Sampras with his first ace in this opening set. It's 4-all.
First set.
But he's been slowed by injuries. Gets paid an awful lot of money for endorsements over in Japan, and I think that hurt his desire a little bit.
Matsuoka, you mentioned he has a big serve, and Sampras has tasted the impact of that gun. 7 aces already for Shuzo.
Well, he definitely has a big serve. I saw that back when I played him in Tokyo in '88.
15.
Also has a pretty big forehand, pretty good touch for a big man. As I mentioned earlier, doesn't move particularly well, and we've got to expect him to choke under pressure here when things start getting really tight.
They've met 4 previous times, with Sampras winning 3 of the 4, including last year on grass at Queen's here in London. Matsuoka won back in '91, the first time that they battled one another.
30 long.
Good serve into the body there by Matsuoka. We see their career meetings. First one was obviously extremely close. Matsuoka winning tiebreaker in the third. Even to Lipton in '92. Some surprised myself, I haven't seen more of Matsuoka at the top of the game. And you just have to wonder if those huge endorsement contracts he had in Japan had a big impact, as well, obviously, as I mentioned, his physical problems. That's a big second serve there.
While Pete Sampras has 33 titles, Matsuoka has just one. That was in Seoul, 92. He beat Todd Woodbridge in the finals. But that, too, is significant. The only title won by a Japanese player in the Open era.
When I first came on the circuit, a Japanese player just didn't play good technical tennis. It was like they were playing ping pong out there. Didn't really have good coaching. Matsuoka, the first guy I've seen that's got all-around game and a lot of shots.
Just wide.
And he dances very well, too. We saw it after his victory in the previous round over Michael Joyce. Well, he got down pretty well for that ball. He certainly watched it intently. Just missing that, but still up 40-15.
At the net, Matsuoka has only 1 point. Pete Sampras with 8 in this first set. And ace number 8 for Matsuoka. Sampras will be serving to keep the first set going when we return.
Matsuoka leads 5 games to...
Some of the Shuzo Matsuoka fan club here. Pleased that he's broken back twice after relinquishing the lead to Pete Sampras. And when he won his last match against Southern Californian Michael Joyce, his dad, who was a executive with a film company in Tokyo, must have been proud of his version of Ring Around the Rosie. How's that go? You have children. Ring Around the Rosie, or Ring Around the Rose, pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, all fall down.
Sounds like you have some kids, too.
So, sense of theatrics.
15 lost.
Wonder what if he should pull the upset of this tennis year of Pete Sampras, what he has in store. 4-5. Sampras with the first point. 15 love.
Sampras has already been involved in one of the biggest upsets in majors this year, losing first round of the French to Gilbert Schaller, so he doesn't want to do this again. Love a shot at Andre Agassi in the finals. Hit cleanly, but it did the job.
30-15.
Matsuoka gave himself some margin for error, tried to step forward, and that was enough to get ball by Pete Sampras. Just
have to resign yourself to those are going to happen.
Especially on grass courts. A lot of mishits here. That's why you got to play it a little bit safer, and don't take as big a backswing.
Point for 5-all.
Game Sampras. 5 games all, first set.
7,000 plus center court. 5-all.
I really didn't think Matsuoka was consistent enough to hurt Sampras off the serve, so this is surprising. He's already broken Pete twice in the first set. Pete feeling the nerves as well. And we saw earlier in the tournament against Palmer, started slowly, so maybe off to a bit of a slow start here. Although he did break the first game, so that's hardly a bad start.
Love 50.
That's the 4th double fault, and when Matsuoka worked his way into trouble, And the 2 times he was broken, it was the double fault that helped contribute.
Well, he's clearly going for a lot on both the first and second serve, so you're going to see a lot more aces and a lot more double faults from this young Japanese player. Sampras didn't get down for that pass.
15-all.
Look at Pete here. Sort of surprised me. He tried to pull that cross court, but that ball skidded on him. No shot there.
Well, you can see on that low angle how the ball, even though the grass is worn, bruised, however you want to describe it, the ball's still skidding low. That you have to have good knees when you play on the lawn.
Looks like it's getting lower than it did the first week. Matsuoka very hyped up, and I think that's throwing Sampras a little. Watch him move here in net. He's really into this match. Most guys are just standing there. Matsuoka jumping all over the place.
Guessed right.
That's a good volley, too. Showing some good technique on the volley so far.
Game Matsuoka.
Matsuoka and Sampras on serve, 6-5.
Matsuoka leads 16.
Shuzo Matsuoka, and he recalled their last meeting.
I played him a couple years ago at Queens and beat him in straight sets, but you know, anyone that's in the quarterfinals of a major has got to be playing well. He's got a lot of confidence, I'm sure, and it's, you know, pretty much the same ball game in every grass court match. Just try to return well and stay solid on your service games.
Now Pete Sampras, despite the fact he had broken Matsuoka twice, only to lose his own serve, has to serve to move into a tiebreaker. Opening set, 5-6.
Well-placed serve there. The first point of the 12th game by Pete Sampras, trying to take this to a first set tiebreak.
These are the first 4 rounds serving for Pete Sampras. 88% first serve points won, and broken only 3 times prior to today and twice here in the opening set. So that's high points for Matsuoka.
He's not going to lose it serve. He hits that serve so far out wide there, especially in deuce court. Nothing really Matsuoka could do. 40 love. He hit a shaky volley at 15 love, gave Matsuoka a chance he didn't capitalize on in there. A very surprisingly bad half volley. Still up 40-15 though. Once again, an unforced error off the volley. Seems a little sluggish. Didn't really move too well there. Needed to move his body to the side about a foot more. Let that ball come right in on him. Now Matsuoka a chance for a second serve.
Game Sampras.
Into a tiebreak.
6 games all. First set, tiebreak.
Now this is where Sampras is going to have to take his number 2 ranking and his 2 consecutive Wimbledon titles and fuel a strong tiebreak. You don't want to give Matsuoka belief that he can win this. There's a mini break.
1-0 Sampras.
Well, Matsuoka certainly went after that second serve, but hit that volley too short. Still should have won the point there, but a little overexcited. Bit of a break there for Pete.
Sampras.
Matsuoka in this championship has been in 4 tie breaks. He's 2-2, and Sampras is 2-1. Matsuoka gets the mini break back.
Sampras.
Somewhat surprising, Pete in 95, John, 8 and 12 in tiebreakers.
It's very surprising, given the fact that he serves so big. He's capable of playing well at the net, although so far in this match, he's looking shaky at the net. That's another point he should have won there. Just didn't do enough for that first volley. Matsuoka better be careful he doesn't throw in a couple double faults here. Once again, a big second serve into the body with very smart play on grass.
2.
Look at this serve here. Handcuffing Pete. Pete did well to get that back, and a good depth on the volley.
3-2 Matsuoka.
Matsuoka looking very comfortable out there.
Elena Mulcahy in center of your picture, showing some concern. Pete Sampras is steady. And there's a mini break to Matsuoka. They change ends with a 27-year-old Japanese star in the lead. Matsuoka. 4 points to 2.
Another surprisingly weak volley by Sampras. See him practicing his stroke there as he walks back to serve at 2-4. A real shot here for Matsuoka. This is going to be a big confidence boost. Imagine if he wins this match, he'll dance around the entire stadium.
Matsuoka.
Got to get a Japanese interpreter. See what Matsuoka's thinking.
Three points from the set.
Well left by Matsuoka. You want to be, in my opinion, 99% sure that ball's going out if you let it go. Matsuoka did. Another fine first serve. Has a very high ball toss. Stands a little bit too upright in my opinion, but that's still a very good serve. Whatever works. Very emotional for a Japanese player, this Shuzo Matsuoka. Very vocal.
Oh, double fault.
5-4 Matsuoka.
So they're back on serve. 5 doubles for Matsuoka.
And that's the consequence of going for a lot on the second serve. Too bad it happened 5-3 in the tiebreaker up for him. still think it's a good strategy, though, however, to go for a big second serve. Try to put a little bit more spin on it, play it a little safer. And Pete just barely made that volley.
5-all.
5-all.
Well, your two-time Wimbledon champion, Pete Sampras, going for a rare 3 in a row against the 108th ranked player in the world. If you're Matsuoka, you really don't have anything to lose. Go for it, full bore, and that's what he's doing.
I always found that kind of intriguing, though. I mean, Sampras has won 2 Wimbledon, so in a way he shouldn't have anything to lose. He's already won 2. Matsuoka's never been in the finals of anything. Look at that. He's got a chance to win Wimbledon. That's what he's got to lose, and that's how he played this backhand. Beautiful backhand down the line. Give him a shot to serve for this first set. See him step in nicely, a real short backswing, just the way you want to play on grass.
Yeah, he has this crowd certainly in his camp at the moment, cheering for the first set.
Game first set, Matsuoka. 7 games to 6.
7 points to 5. Shuzo Matsuoka takes the lead.
I'll have the chili. Chili.
Welcome back, Pete Sampras and Shuzo Matsuoka into the second set. We're back on center court, and Andre Agassi and Jaakko Elding, their match statistics.
Agassi certainly serving well, 77%, not going for a lot, however. Elding in a pretty good percentage. He's playing reasonably well. Obviously, the unforced errors really hurt him. He really can't afford to make any unforced errors. He's going to beat Andre Agassi.
Agassi up a break, 4-3 here in the second. He broke Elding in the 5th game.
I still think Elding needs to come in sooner. Not give Agassi any rhythm. We saw that there. He only waited a couple shots. Ground strokers like to have a couple shots to groove on. Just like that, except he needs to get it in.
15-all.
At least make Agassi hit that pass and hit a winner. That kick off Agassi's second serve hurting Elding just a little bit. Missed it wide. Then you just say too good. He really didn't have an opportunity to come in before that shot. That's a good deep approach shot. Usually win the point against most players. I used to think 90% of the time you hit a ball foot within the baseline, you're going to win the point. I told that to Andre. He said, yeah, 90% of the time when they hit a foot to my baseline, I win the point.
He thinks the other way. Ace for Agassi, his 5th. And they played exactly an hour. Rolex and Wimbledon for 17 years, a partnership in this great tennis tradition.
It's about the pace of an usual Agassi match here at Wimbledon. Almost 2 sets in an hour.
Game Agassi, new balls.
No Agassi, a game from a 2-set lead. Elding serves 3-5.
Lead by 5 games to 3. Second set.
Elding to serve with some new balls. Some Agassi fans. Low budget on that.
Not too many style points. But you got to give a point for just enthusiasm. One of the many rocket returns.
Well, he had enough room there to let the arms get outstretched. Try to serve that a little more into the body. This is easy from my position to say, though. Agassi in full gear.
While Sampras struggling with Matsuoka, Agassi's playing the best match of the championships. 34 winners, 5 unforced errors.
Love 30.
Elding must be wondering, what should I do here? I'm not playing badly, and I'm getting my butt kicked.
Back row, somewhat pensive, Brooke Shields. That's Brad Gilbert and his wife, also in the back row. There's Gilbert, who wrote a book, Winning Ugly. He won $8 million playing ugly. I'm very proud of it.
15-13.
It's an interesting partnership, Gilbert and Agassi, isn't it? People wonder why they ever got together. Well, Agassi has all the tools, and Gilbert won just because he was crafty. He found ways to win, even though his game wasn't pretty.
Oh, he was more talented than he let on, though. Excellent passing shots like Andre Agassi.
Well, what has he given Agassi? What has made Agassi better because of Brad Gilbert?
A superior competitor and a good tactician, as we see his son, Zach, with the Agassi look down there. He's all dressed up. He hasn't got even the earring working.
It is contagious. 30-all. And set point Agassi.
Probably the biggest thing that Gilbert gave was a strategy to talk about an opponent before the match and get an idea of how you want to play, different options that are available to Andre, and it's really opened his mind up. No question, Gilbert's done a tremendous job. Oh! And Gilbert was known as a selfish player when he played, so this was really a real surprise that he's been that successful.
Game in second set.
Agassi playing at his absolute best. An early and impressive two-set lead.
It's a spectacular event. The championships, Wimbledon, brought to you.
Welcome back to Kenburg with John McEnroe. Andre Agassi leads by 2 sets on center court. Now we join Pete Sampras and Shuzo Matsuoka on court 1. In our 2 hours today, as these two matches are being played simultaneously, trying to give you as much action as possible, and Matsuoka making it very difficult on the defending champion with that win in the tie break, and now 3-all here in the second. Good.
Sampras making things difficult for himself as well, double faulting that first point. That was not much of a half volley there either. Matsuoka with the pass to go up love 30.
Love 40.
And that's not what Pete Sampras wants right now. Up a service break 3 different times. Matsuoka's broken back each time. Now up love 40. What a burst of adrenaline this will give Matsuoka. We'll see what he runs around the court if he breaks serve here.
Oh, it's out. How could he let that one go?
Well, he better been assured that was going out. Down love 40. Certainly was in position to hit it. Have to say good eye there by Pete Sampras, although I would have just put it away and been a little bit safer. Matsuoka with a chance for a second serve here. He put that one right in the middle of the net. Wasn't even close there.
2 breakers saved by Sampras, and now 30-40.
Juice. You hear Matsuoka yelling at himself. He realizes how big a chance he had up love 40. It pays too much for him on that return.
Another big serve by Sampras. So from love 40 to game point.
Game Sampras.
What a save from Love 40. Men's quarterfinal, and the early matches well into their drama, but particularly so here on court 1, where Pete Sampras in a tiebreaker lost the opening set 7 points to 5 in the tiebreak to Shuzo Matsuoka. Then Sampras broke Matsuoka in his first service game here in the second set, but the 27-year-old Japanese broke right back, so they're unserved 3-4 in the second. And Sampras in the last game dug out of Love 40 as Matsuoka had 3 chances to really take an advantage in this match.
Sampras let one of the Matsuoka passing shots go. It was about an inch wide. And Matsuoka had a good chance at a second serve. Put it into the net. Sampras surviving.
Yeah, that's a rare volley error by Matsuoka. He's done everything at the highest of standards.
Well, he's lost serve 3 times, which was semi-expected, but not that he break Pete Sampras 3 times already and have other chances as well. But now finds himself down Love 30. That's 3 bad volleys.
Well, Sampras fell behind Love 40 in the last game. Now can Matsuoka survive?
Not the way he played those first 3 points. Boy. Both players with a lot more chances than I expected on this fast grass court.
3 chances to go up 5-3 for Pete Sampras in the second set.
Game Sampras.
He breaks at Love and now serves for the second set. And for Sampras, that's the equivalent of Matsuoka's running around the court and then falling over as if somebody had hit him on the head. He has shown no emotion at all.
Well, I think he realized the importance of holding that last game at 3-all. That's a lot of emotion for Pete. And now a chance to even things up at a set apiece. And Matsuoka really took a turn for the worse that last game.
Yeah, suddenly his shots are spraying all over court 1. Ace for Sampras, his third. Very low total of aces for Pete in this match.
So we should ask Bud Collins to ask Pete after the match if he feels the balls are slowing down the pace of his serve. The conditions are heavier now.
It's good.
And very rarely will you see a Pete Sampras serve with nothing on it, like this second serve here. Matsuoka with plenty of time to take a relatively big swing on the forehand and pull it up the line. Still, 2 more set points for Pete.
This is where Pete's had trouble in the match. He's broken Matsuoka 3 times and then lost his serve right back. Not this time. Sampras is back even with the 108th player in the world. A set apiece.
NBC Sports Tennis Tips with Chris Evert. Brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
There are times when a two-handed backhand just isn't the right shot to hit. When the ball is low or really wide, it's nice to have a good one-handed slice in your arsenal. The keys to a good slice are shoulder turn, the racket head high to low and through the ball, and an open racket face that slides underneath the ball. The slice can be used to keep the ball low, to change pace, and is a great shot to approach the net. A good slice stays low and makes your opponent hit up. It's an easy shot to hit, but it's a very tough shot to return.
Quarterfinals, and Andre Agassi up 2 sets has just broken Jaakko Elding to pull even at 3-all in the 3rd set, and that's his 7th ace of the match. Agassi broken in the 1st game of the set, but gets it back in game 6.
Well, he was up 30-love the game he lost serve, and he really shouldn't have lost that game. Nothing really Elting did. Matter of fact, he served a double fault, his first of the match, to get broken, and that was his 2nd there. Played a couple loose shots, up 30-love, missed an easy forehand, but has regained control of this set. Somewhat surprising to me, continues to pound away at the Elting backhand, which is clearly his more consistent shot. Got more variety on it, more consistency. Apparently doesn't care what's his better shot. He's just going to play the stroke he feels like playing. But it has gone predominantly to the backhand. And suddenly, when things get a little tight, starts going to the Elting forehand. Smart move by Andre there.
3-all, 30-all, 3rd set. Agassi winning the first 2 sets, 6-2, 6-3. Meanwhile, the number 2 player in the world, Pete Sampras, over at court 1, has split sets with Shuzo Matsuoka.
Elting is really a poor man's Stefan Edberg. Very similar game. A little shaky on the forehand. Look at that. Top spin lob by Andre Agassi. Elting, a good athlete. That serve kicked up on it. He wasn't able to get the pace on it he wanted to on that approach shot. And Agassi had plenty of time to think about this one. Watch him watch that ball until it hits his racket. Great technique there by Andre. Elting unable to reach it.
And then the ace, his 8th, on serve 4-3 in the 3rd. London, England, land of the tabloid journalism. And Agassi knows how to handle the British press.
Can you do something for our women's pages? We're doing a funny thing about first kisses. Remember your first kiss?
Do I remember my first kiss? See, you guys just throw the bait out, don't you? You throw it out and you hope I bite, huh?
Are you aware that your shorts are slightly transparent?
Am I aware of that?
Yeah.
No, but apparently you are, huh?
He's good off the court as well, isn't he?
Quick thinker. And a quick mover on the court. Brooke looks like Andre's down 2 sets there. Very intent on this match. Good start in the 8th game for Andre Agassi. Elting not doing enough with that drop volley. Certainly showing no ill effects from that hip injury that he suffered in the French Open.
Yeah, that when he left Paris, all concerns were that he wouldn't even be able to come to Wimbledon.
Now he's 6 points from a semi-final berth.
And the winner will meet either Boris Becker or Cedric Pioline. The Frenchman will play later today. Pioline gathering considerable support. The odds on him winning Wimbledon have dropped dramatically. There have been some very large wagers placed in the Frenchman's behalf.
Well, they might have dropped from about 1,000 to 1 to about 500 to 1, but that's a big drop. But still, the long shot here. Although Pioline is very athletic player. Thought I'd see more of him after that final he reached in the U.S. Open a couple years back, but certainly been struggling since. Never won a career title, so certainly like to start here.
2 break points for Agassi, and the opportunity then to serve out the match.
I don't think people realize, even when you watch and see these winners, how incredibly Andre Agassi returns the ball. It's just phenomenal how well he's hitting the ball in this event.
Good serve.
He's supposed to hit a winner there.
13-14.
Make me look good. Elting with a good first serve.
Well, it's true of all sports. I mean, television tends to sterilize it a bit. Just the full speed force of Agassi, that great racket speed. Even that couldn't allow him to make contact with the 10th ace of Elting, erasing 2 break points.
Jaakko Elting's serve here. Nice knee bend. Not a particularly high toss, but effective there. That's 3 big serves by Elting that he desperately needed. All going to the Agassi forehand. Well, we certainly have a great view of his return from this booth. Nice and low here. And another ace.
Elting, 4 consecutive big serves. Bails himself out of 15-40. It's 4-all.
You must have heard me in here saying how good Agassi returned. Didn't even give Agassi a chance those last 4 points.
Andre with a smile as he looks up at the box over our heads where Brooke Shield and Coach Gilbert. See them just above our location.
That's what I expected more of from the beginning from Elting. He's got a nice chip backhand. He's very adept at net, one of the best overheads around. Sort of half overhead, half forehand volley. Effective nonetheless. A lot of power and pace on that Andre Agassi forehand. Elting just trying to get this ball back, but see how quickly that came on him. You're not going to see that too often, Elting winning a point from the baseline. A little chance here for Elting. Things appeared bleak in that last game. Agassi a little lucky to win that point. That volley right there is the one Elting should have put away. Once he gave Agassi one more chance, he was in desperate trouble. So he didn't do much out with approach, but Agassi felt the pressure, and he had a real shot at that first volley.
And another winning pass by Agassi.
Seems like it'd almost be better to chip short, real short against Agassi. He hits the ball so well when it's near the baseline. That is another phenomenal thing. Only player I've ever seen do that.
Game Agassi, 5-4 in the third. Agassi leading 2-0.
Here's the best offer of the year on America's Best.
Roland Garros, the last time that Agassi lost, Yevgeny Kafelnikov, and he suffered a right hip flexor injury in the heavy red clay of Roland Garros. His only loss in the last 23 Grand Slam matches. 22-1 for Agassi. Prior to that, he hadn't lost since Wimbledon last year when Todd Martin beat him in the 4th round. Trying to make it 23 of 24 with a win over Elting today. Dirty low.
Elting not fooled there. Agassi tried to hold that forehand to the last instant, but this time he was too far behind the baseline. Elting knew he didn't have to guess.
Six double faults for Elting. Go with his 11 aces.
Talk about a return. Woo.
That's the kind of return that you tasted when you met him here in the semis a couple of years ago.
Far too many of those. Right at his shoe tops. Elting really did well just to get that back, but he was forced to guess there. Agassi held it beautifully. When you're that close to that, you can afford to hold the forehand longer. Now 2 points from victory.
That's in. On the line. For match point. He has just played absolutely brilliantly today.
Well, really pretty much throughout the event, but particularly today, really made Elting look like a fairly average player. And Elting will be in the top 20 win or lose after this match.
51 winners for Agassi and only 12 unforced errors.
Not what Elting wanted. Give Agassi a chance at a second serve on match point.
Game, set, and match. Agassi 3 sets to love. 6-2, 6-3, 6-4.
The champion of '92 Wimbledon is through to the semifinals, to the delight of the many who cheered him throughout this fortnight. 6-2, 6-3, 6-4. Agassi will meet either Boris Becker or Cedric Pioline in the semifinals. 52 winners and only 12 unforced errors. An impeccable display of his high talent at center court today. Well, the #1 player in the world is through to the Final Four. And many of his shots as scintillating as her smile. We'll return to Court 1 and Pete Sampras in a moment. So Andre Agassi, as well as a man can play, Jaakko Elting, to lose in 3 sets. He had 33 winners and 23 double faults, but Agassi made no mistakes and had just incredible shot making on his side, to the delight of his #1 fan. And we switch now over to Court 1, where Pete Sampras in the 3rd set, they split the first 2 sets, broke Matsuoka in the 3rd game and has held the lead to this point, 4-3 Sampras. Sampras losing the opening set in a tie break, 7 points to 5, and then winning the 2nd set.
Well, he's clearly struggling a lot more than Andre Agassi was, who didn't struggle a bit except for that one little hiccup the first game of the 3rd set. He's got to be happy with his form. Sampras still in control, however. Up a break here. It seems to have settled down.
Winner of this match will play either Goran Ivanisevic, the finalist of Wimbledon 2 of the last 3 years, or Yevgeny Kafelnikov. They meet in the late quarterfinal match. Oh, my.
Matsuoka starting the dance early, I think.
He runs to a seat on the towel-offs, and he runs back to position to return serve.
He just blocked that return nicely cross-court and ran to the other side. Total miss hit there.
14-15.
Off the Pete Sampras first serve.
Well, playing the tennis of his life is Shuzo Matsuoka.
Well, that was a good tactical move there. He had a nice low return, sprinted into net, threw Sampras off a little bit. I think Sampras watching a little bit too carefully out of the corner of his eye. I'm sorry, Dick Matsuoka is certainly thinking here.
Game Sampras.
5-3 Sampras.
Sampras leads 5 games to 3. Third set.
And now Matsuoka. Matsuoka, who answering to the Japanese press, and of course all the newspapers there chronicling the success of his play and Kamiko Date here at Wimbledon. Reminded all that the Crown Prince of Japan met his wife on a tennis court, so there is a royal relationship there as well as here at Wimbledon.
Whose wife did he meet? The prince met his wife, or the prince
Crown
met...
Prince of Japan met his wife on the tennis court, so they
that explains it. Watch this miss-hit winner return by Sampras. Strong enough up top to pull that one over the net. Love 15. Matsuoka continuing to go for a lot on that second serve. And it's worked well for him for the most part.
Look at the statistics in this match.
Well, Matsuoka serving pretty well, almost 60%, not as well as Sampras. A lot of winners, but this is a big difference. Sampras only 3 aces, and Matsuoka was 17.
That was a let.
Matsuoka didn't hear that let. You'd think that Matsuoka would be the one in the lead with that big discrepancy in aces, but no. Sampras up a break here at 5-3.
Seven double faults with his 17 aces, Matsuoka. And Sampras now 2 points from a 2-set-to-1 lead.
He is clearly hyped up. Looks a little bit like Thomas Muster. Not the looks, I mean the...
energy.
There's no mistake there.
No, they've never been. Well, of course, I've never seen them together at the same time either. So maybe. Ace number 18.
Very surprising. He's had 18 aces, Sampras only 3. But give credit to Sampras there, the fact that he's still up despite subpar serving day.
So when we return, Pete Sampras serves for the third set. Very instrumental in the helping of young players, U.S. players. Jose Aguirre on the left. He was the man in charge when Michael Chang won the French Open at age 17. Tom Gullickson, Tim's twin brother. And you know who they're rooting for as Pete Sampras, the number 2 seed, serves for the set. 5-4 in the third and a 2-set-to-1 lead. Cyclops sounding its alarm in the middle of the toss.
Don't forget Jose Higuera's still working with Jim Courier. Unfortunately for Jim, ousted in the second round this year. I'd like to see him regain his form. And presumably so would Jose Higuera's. And that was an excellent pickup by Sampras there. That was a big return by Matsuoka. Hit it with pace down low. Look how relaxed here Sampras is under pressure.
And that's in an area where you can expect a bad bounce. A little half volley protecting against that error.
Once again, Matsuoka with a good low return. This time, Sampras trying sort of an inside-out backhand volley that he angled wide. And like a lot of players today, Matsuoka has a tendency to go for a lot off that forehand. A little bit inconsistent there.
Two match set points for Pete Sampras. And this match turned in the middle of the second set when Sampras at 3-all down a set, served out a love 40, and then broke Matsuoka in the next game. Went on to take that set, and now owns the third set, 6-4.
Sampras leads 2-6.
Well, he's breathing a big sigh of relief now. Sure, he felt he should have won that first set. Up 2 different times a service break, didn't. As you mentioned, a little bit of trouble in the second. Now gaining control.
We saw last weekend against Jared Palmer on this same court. Dropped the first set and then closed him out. And that's what must be in the back of Sampras's mind. Let's get this over with now.
It's a good way to start there in the fourth. And don't forget, Matsuoka folded the same way Palmer did that big game in the second set. Made 4 bad errors off the volley. And that cost him the second set. You can't afford to do that against the top players.
Well, Pete Sampras, so little emotion, so little other than the artful display of his skills, and Matsuoka now, he's giving it all, even verbally.
He served a lot into the Sampras' body, which is a very smart move on this surface, really on any surface, especially grass courts where the ball has a tendency to skid. It's a tough serve to handle.
Although I don't know if is a verb or not, come to think of it.
Ask Monica Seles if she comes back.
Well, that was your specialty at Stanford, that English class, wasn't it? And
I thought it was underwater basket weaving. Sampras with a good cross-court winner there. He'd love to get off to an early break in this fourth set. Matsuoka hanging on now. He just left the court too wide open for Sampras. Sampras too shrewd to let this opportunity pass him up. We saw that down the line, wide open. Matsuoka made a bad decision there. If you hit that volley into that circumstance, you've got to put it away.
chance for the early lead now in the fourth, leading 2-1.
Arthur Ashe, the late great Arthur Ashe, always told me to Covered down the line. We see Sampras. Excellent percentage on the break chances. 5 of 8.
And gets a second serve. And Pete Sampras does break. In charge now in the fourth. Pete Sampras trying to become the second man in over 50 years to win 3 Wimbledons in a row. And a champion's net cord.
That's a good way of putting it.
Bjorn Borg, 5 in a row from 76 through 1980. And then you have to go all the way back to Fred Perry, 34, 35, 36 to win 3 consecutive. Sampras in that position, trying to earn his way into the semifinals and perhaps eventually to meet his buddy Agassi in the finals on Sunday.
Sampras is one of the best overheads in the game. Matsuoka not putting this one up high enough or deep enough. It's a very difficult shot off the back foot. Sampras with some good leaping ability. The best of his leaping ability, not even necessary on that overhead. But this time better. This is really more timing than anything else. See, Sampras is extremely close. And that was perfectly done there by Shuzo Matsuoka. That was not an easy topspin lob either. He made it look easy.
Yeah, down a break. 30 love now, or 30 all. So Matsuoka throughout the match has been toughest when he has been broken. That's how he managed that first set.
You're right again, Dick. Look at this, a chance to get back into this fourth set. It appeared Sampras had taken total control. And Matsuoka with the inside-out miss-hit backhand winner. That's a great serve by Sampras.
Only his 4th ace. Came at a big time.
So Matsuoka was quite a bit behind the baseline. He tried to move forward, but he couldn't cut off that angle. Sampras saw that. He knew if he placed that serve well, it could be an ace, and that's exactly what happened. So who's going to tell Matsuoka to stand closer when the ball's being hit that hard? Very little time to react.
Net cord. And another break point.
This half volley here that Sampras hit must be 2 inches inside the baseline. Matsuoka, in my opinion, more consistent on that backhand side and got a break off the net there. Just clips the top of the tape.
Yep.
Sampras breathes a sigh of relief.
Reminder tonight at 11:35, our Wimbledon update. You'll be able to see the other matches as well being played today. Ivanisevic, Kafelnikov, and Becker Piolin, as well as highlights from Agassi and Sampras.
Sampras.
And it's the women's semis tomorrow. All Spanish match. Well, Sampras surviving a couple of breakers, leads too low. Matsuoka, after he won the opening set in a tiebreak 7 points to 5, trainer came out and apparently a bug in his left eye. And then changing shirts later, I mean,
he's been with some acupuncturists, I have a feeling. All taped up.
He wrapped up as this 27-year-old. He's had operations on both knees in the last 6 years. Love to.
And that's not even the parts of his body that's wrapped up. A back brace, something around his stomach. His elbow's all taped up. And he's got to watch this Pete Sampras return go right by him. That ups the pain level just a little bit. The big man showing some nice touch there.
Sampras fortunate to get that serve back.
I don't think Sampras has decided to follow Matsuoka's routine, but realizes there's only 20 seconds between points. Doesn't want to be called for a time violation. Uh-oh. He may have pulled something there.
Ooh, he went down with a little grunt of pain and gets the winner, but let's watch him closely.
I think he might have slightly strained the groin muscle there.
Yeah, both ankles splaying out. Didn't turn any of them. They both...
Well, he seemed to go with it fairly well, so hopefully he didn't hurt himself. That's a smart play by Matsuoka. Knows that he may be hurting just a touch, go behind him, force him to stop quickly. Seems a little ginger on the baseline now. That winner certainly helped the pain, but appears to be in a little bit of discomfort.
Break point for a 3-love lead.
Wants to get that insurance break here. Can't imagine Pete losing up 2 service breaks. 2 sets to 1. Look at this. 6 out of 9 is tremendous.
That is. And yet Matsuoka's had more break opportunities, which tells you something about his level of play. Quickly erased. 19 aces to 4 for Sampras.
That's a big surprise, too. I figured Matsuoka would serve a lot of aces, but I also figured that Pete Sampras would as well.
Ten years of pro, and prior to this Wimbledon, Matsuoka had never been beyond the second round of a Grand Slam, and here he is trying to get into the semis of Wimbledon.
Just doesn't have the consistency when it really comes down to it to stay with Sampras. That was a fairly easy backhand volley. He pushed long. That's what separates the good from the great. He likes that serve up the middle. 2 serves that really help him. The serve up the middle and the serve into the Sampras body have saved him in times of trouble. Very high ball toss. And a big man. Definitely feels at least an inch or 2 bigger than that. That's a great point.
Oh, is it ever.
Both players make a couple tremendous gets here, starting with that Matsuoka volley. Sampras runs down that shot. finally Matsuoka too far out of the court.
And to Sampras' credit, he appeared to have the winning point the shot before, but didn't just stand and watch. He was back covering the court.
Exactly right. And good news is he appears to be moving okay, too.
Sampras, like his countryman Agassi, flashing why he is one of the best, if not the best in the world. Takes a 3-love lead in the fourth. His trainer watching carefully after Sampras went down awkwardly in that last game. He seems okay, and up 2 breaks, up 2 sets to 1.
I felt Todd Schneider helped me win many a match. Used to be the ATP trainer for many years. Excellent trainer.
What ways did he help you?
So many ways. Preparing me before the match, helping me with treatment after the matches when I'm injured. Very knowledgeable guy, likable fellow. One of the most liked guys around. Pete, lucky to have him now. He's one of those jack-of-all trades. Guys that can tape ankles as well as massage, as well as give you treatment, as well as give you good stretching exercises. Can do everything for you. And that's what he's doing now for Pete Sampras.
Love, 30-love, Sampras in the fourth.
I stick some ice right on that Sampras groin right after the match. It's the first thing he'll do. Not let him go to the press for probably 30, 45 minutes. Some immediate treatment.
Sampras at love. Moves up to 4-love in the fourth.
Sampras leads 4 games to love.
And we duck in a doubles final today. Gigi Fernandez and Natasha Zvereva have defeated Martinez and Cherubini 2-1. They're the #1 seeds and favored to win this championship as they've won so many Grand Slam doubles of late. They're into the semifinals with that win.
That's not going to rank on the list of the great upsets.
They're Novotny and Sanchez Vicario are still also involved in the women's doubles, the #2 seeds.
Matsuoka trying to save some face here in the fourth set.
And there are a couple of Americans still in the quarters. Amy Frazier, her partner Kim Poe, and Arenton Shriver, Pam Shriver. Longtime doubles partner Martina Navratilova still in the women's doubles picture. Double fault. Number 8.
A relatively easy game here so far for Matsuoka. Trying to put a little extra mustard on that first serve.
Ace number 20. It's 4-1 in the fourth.
The championships, Wimbledon.
Pete Sampras a couple of games away from his 90th Grand Slam win. Look at that Wimbledon record. He's now won 18 in a row. This would be 19. Long shot from Borg's record of 41, but on a roll. And he won Queens on grass before Wimbledon, so he's won 16 straight on grass here in the last month.
And he won a semifinals, finals, and a men's doubles finals all on the same day at Queens, so he's fit. Maybe that groin bothered him just a little bit on that stretch.
Last time that Pete lost at Wimbledon was Goran Ivanisevic in the semis in '92.
And guess who he plays if they both win today? You guessed it, Goran Ivanisevic.
If indeed Ivanisevic can handle the young man that you've been praising from the French here to Wimbledon, Yevgeny Kafelnikov.
Don't think you're going to see a lot of breaks in that match either. That's not atypical of an Ivanisevic match. Huge serve and not a great deal else, although he's extremely dangerous on this surface. Meanwhile, Pete Sampras cruising along.
Point from 5-1.
Certainly been one of Matsuoka's best shots, that two-handed backhand up the line off the second serve. He's taking it nice and early, not taking much of a backswing, using the Sampras pace off the serve.
Yeah, should he not win, Matsuoka nevertheless will go home a hero. And he stretched the defending champion and gave him a early warning with that first set win, but now serves to stay in the match at 1-5. A reminder, tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 12 noon Pacific, we'll have the ladies semifinals of Wimbledon. Steffi Graf, Jana Novotná in one match, and the first time ever at Wimbledon in all Spanish semi, Conchita Martinez, the defending champion, and Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. It's Arantxa's best ever Wimbledon. Then tomorrow night and tonight, 11:35 Eastern and Pacific, our Wimbledon update.
Well, he's still running. Fortunately, he ran through that volley and didn't get the break on the net court.
Well, you can see the bounce that took off the worn area.
Sampras wasn't going to hit that one for a winner, that's for sure. Crowd booing a little bit. I think they thought that was a bad call on the baseline. Matsuoka not complaining. 2 points from defeat.
21 aces. Next up on court one will be the quarterfinal match of Boris Becker and Cedric Pioline. Our time constraints today prohibit us from showing you that action, but we invite you to join HBO. Our friends there will have all a quarterfinal match for you, and then you can see highlights tonight at 11:35 on NBC.
Someone tell Pete he's still up 2 breaks in this fourth set. Doesn't want to hurt himself on this one. Good effort there, running full speed, crashing into the net. You've mentioned this before, Dick, but his speed is very underrated around the tour.
Matsuoka battling into this fourth set. He's going to make Sampras serve for the match. Pete Sampras, 2-1, serves at 5-2 for a date on Friday in the semis against either Ivanisevic or Kapelnikov. Now, the great Rod Laver last year, in celebrating the 25th anniversary of his second Grand Slam, said of Sampras, I like the fact that he realizes the history of the game is important, but I also like the fact he gets down to work and lets his racket do the talking. And Pete does have a sense of tennis history and his place and those who have preceded him. And while Laver was winning his second Grand Slam before Sampras was born, nevertheless, Sampras has studied films and tapes of the great rocket from Australia and tried to pick up ways to help his own game.
That's really interesting, considering Laver is left-handed, Sampras is righty. I used to try to emulate Rod's game as well. Greatest champion that tennis has ever had. Huge left arm, probably about twice the size of his right. Well, Sampras a little bit careless there, but he can afford to be at this point. 2 breaks, up 30 love. Still only 2 points from victory at 30-15.
Sampras reacting to the sections of fans, one cheering for Matsuoka, and then the next one trying to yell louder for Sampras. Well, we have seen some absolutely marvelous play today. Agassi and Sampras. Yeah, that's why you go pay the top ticket price to hear Pavarotti.
And that's why we're going to see these two guys most likely on Sunday. Match point for Pete.
Game, set, match, Sampras. 6-7, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3.
The defending champion is 2 matches away from making it 3 in a row, and Shuzo Matsuoka is a face that we will remember from Wimbledon 1995.
And Matsuoka played his heart out, gave it everything he had, scared Sampras for about a set and a half, then his talent and experience took over.
Well, it's been a delightful doubleheader. Center court Andre Agassi and court 1 Pete Sampras, both starting at 1 o'clock London time. And the crowds in both theaters more than appreciative of what they are fortunate enough to witness firsthand. Well, don't wander away. We've got the rest of this day, scores and highlights. Hannah Storm standing by, and a look ahead at tomorrow's ladies semifinals. Agassi, number 1, Sampras, number 2, have advanced to the semifinals.